Do you need a little direction in streamlining the processes for your e-commerce business? Hi, I'm Patti Scharf, CPA and partner at Acuity, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, process and automation. I'm going to be talking about the who, what, and why of process, and in the coming weeks, I'm going to be showing you some of our favorite tools to accomplish these things. This is my happy place. My title actually at Acuity is Chief Process Officer, and it is with a good reason. I love all things process. So let's talk first of all about terminology. So sometimes people will talk about process and automation kind of intertwined. Those are really two separate concepts. Process. This is what gets you from point A to point Z. These are all the steps along the way. You're going to have processes in sales, in marketing, in finance, in accounting, in operations. Anything that's touching your business has process in it. Automation is actually just taking some of those steps that are in your process and doing it as if by magic. It's the things that you are automating. They are happening automatically as part of your process. And we're going to be talking about both of those. So why am I even talking about process? I think more than anybody, e-commerce sellers really appreciate the ability to work smart, not hard. Now, I know you guys, you do both. You're working smart and hard, but bear with me. When you're focusing on process, what's going to end up happening is you are going to become more efficient. That means that you can do more with less, which means more times than not, you're going to be able to spend less money while achieving better results. Okay, you're also going to have improved quality because when you standardize your processes, you're going to have consistent results. And people, customers specifically, really like consistency. It's also going to speed things up. So it used to be, I'm just going to use our company as an example. We had a billing process. It would take somebody 4 days to do the billing. And we added a little bit of streamlining to that process. We fixed the process a little bit. We also added some automation. Now it's down to a few hours. So that can make huge differences in your business. And lastly, when you are focusing on the right things, you're going to be starting to collect good data. And when you have good data, you can now make better decisions about your business. And the last thing, I know I said that last thing was the last thing, but that was the last thing for you. The last thing is if you have people on your team or you want to scale up, having clear processes is going to give them direction and clarity about what it looks like when you are achieving success in your business. So I've got some tips for you as you start defining your processes. The first one is around mindset. When you are thinking about building workflows or defining your processes, think about doing things the same way. Think about, in your ideal world, what would it look like to do it in the best way possible? Okay. I often will have people who are just like, no, you just don't understand. Our situation is too unique. There are too many variations. We couldn't possibly document a workflow because it would be impossible. And I have a couple of responses. The first one is, no, it's not. You just don't have a large enough sample size. So you haven't been able to see enough patterns to be able to pick out where things are the same. And that brings me to my second point, which is instead of focusing what you can't standardize, flip that around and focus on what you can standardize, because it's better to focus on exception management. So for example, instead of doing 100% of the work kind of somewhat similarly, do 99% the same, and then you can focus your attention on that 1%. A workflow can actually include human steps. It doesn't all have to be automation or that sort of thing. It's just how do you get from A to Z in the most efficient way possible. My next tip is to simply start where you are and document what your process is today. Don't worry that it's inefficient. Don't worry that it's not exactly right. It doesn't matter. We're going to evaluate that stuff later on. Right now, just where are you? We have to see where we are before we know how to get from here to there. So just use whatever is easiest for you. That might be Todoist, it might be Google Docs, it might be whatever. Use that. I do have a couple of tools for you that might make it a little bit easier. One is called ScribeHow at scribehow.com. It might just be Scribe, but scribehow.com. And what it'll do is as you're going through steps, you can just basically hit record. It'll follow your cursor, pay attention to what you did. And then when you finish, it will write up an instruction sheet with screenshots and show where your cursor was and all of that. So that can make that process really quick and easy. The second tool that I wanted to tell you about is Loom. Most people I know already know about Loom, but I'm using Loom to record this video right now. It's an easy video capturing tool. They have new AI features that will summarize what you said. It'll provide a list of action steps. And from what I understand, it works pretty slick. So that is another tool for you. At some point after you've started documenting a lot of things, you'll start thinking about, all right, how do I put these together? Where are these things going to live? And when you get to that point, you're really talking about standard operating procedures. You're starting to put things into practice. There are a few things to keep in mind as you are building those. So the first thing is, where's this going to live? You want a system that's going to scale and grow with you. If you plan on automating things, you're going to want to make sure that it's going to be able to do that for you as well. Our evolution in our practice was, we started off with Google Docs, then we went to Google Slides, then we went to, I remember the Milk, and then Asana. We were with Asana for a good long while, probably till we were about 20 people or so on our team. And then it just became a little bit too flexible and hard to manage. We were really missing templates. And that's when we made the jump over to Process Street. We've been at Process Street for, I want to say, about 5 years or so. And it's been amazing. I cannot say enough good things about Process Street, so much so that I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to Process Street in a couple of weeks. So subscribe. And if you click the little bell, you'll be notified when that video comes due. But in any case, make sure that you've got a system that is going to meet your objectives. If it's only going to be you forever, it doesn't really matter which system you use, whatever you're most comfortable with. But if you're using it with a team of people, you want to make sure it's something that you are collaborating easily with and that other people will find easy to adopt. A few last lightning round tips on picking the right tool. Make sure that you're picking something that will tell you not just what to do, so not like just a checklist, but also how to do it, maybe even why you're doing what you're doing. I think adding context into a workflow really helps both you to get clarity around what it is you're doing and why you're doing it, and also for your team. And it leads to more consistent results. I would encourage you to include written, verbal, and video instructions in all of those, especially if you are working with people where English is not their native language, because written instructions in particular will help them understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. Hyperlinks are really good. Make sure that whatever tool you're using, make sure that it's flexible enough so as you're making updates, you can make those kind of on the fly, or you can make them easily, but don't make them so easy to change that other people on your team are making changes to things that you spent so much time and energy on building. You want to lock that down where you need to, but still make it flexible and easy to adapt as you need to. Then you're going to want to take a step back and evaluate. You can gain efficiency just by documenting your processes, because things are going to jump out at you that you didn't really realize you were doing. You can start asking yourself questions like, can you share data between systems that you weren't sharing before? Maybe before you had the same information here, 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 and here. Maybe you can have one single source of truth and share that information out across multiple places. You can start thinking about, okay, where are your bottlenecks? Who is getting in the way of stops? Can you take some of their work and push it somewhere else? Can you rearrange the order of your work? Can you work in tandem? You can just start asking yourself all of these kinds of questions, and you're going to see improvements from that even before you start automating. And now we get to the step that I think is the most fun part of building process, and that's the automation. Now that you have all of your systems documented, you know what needs to happen. Now you can look through them and see, okay, here is where we can start adding in automation. And I will warn you, it gets addictive. So once you start figuring out how to do some of it, you're going to want to do all of it. So look for tasks when you're first starting out. Look for tasks that are, maybe there's a lot of them. It's really repetitive. It's prone to error. It's easy to automate. Just start looking through and you will start seeing what you can do. I actually did a video about 4 years ago on Zapier, creating multi-line invoices in Xero. So you should go check that out here. And that'll give you kind of a taste. I'm going to do another video in a couple of weeks on Zapier. They've updated it a lot. So the video, Zapier doesn't look quite the same as it used to. And also they've added in some AI features. So I'll talk about those too on my video. But in the meantime, I hope you like this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll catch you later.